A tin.
Okay. Alright, so today we're going to use these affixes. We have flu or fla. They can say either one. Remember, this is part of a word. This isn't a word. We have flux. You can probably think of words that have flux in them. This could be fluke or a fluck. So it can be in a word. And then we're also going to talk about two other ones that are different, ject and jack. Okay? So I will model it first for you. Okay? So I'm going to read the three sentences at the top of your paper. You can listen. There has been a huge influx of jellyfish coming into shore and washing up on the beach. The force of the water changes and fluctuates depending on whether the dam's gates are open or closed. People show their affluence by continuing to buy expensive things. So you can see in the sentences I highlighted and underlined those affixes, those parts, word parts. These Latin roots are important to know so that you can know what words mean. So I'm going to look for some clues now in those sentences. So my first clue in the first sentence is coming in, so I'll write that. Okay, and then I see in that first sentence washing up. Then let's see, in the second sentence it says the force of the water, so I'm going to put force. Let's see, the force of the water changes, good. Changes, we'll put changes. And then in the last sentence we see the word continuing. So we look for these context clues to try to figure out what these words mean. So I could come up with a definition on my own. It wouldn't be the exact definition, but I could say coming in, washing up, force, changes, continuing. So I could say things change, or let's see, they move. So that would be what I would come up with in my mind. Okay, so I think these words mean change or move, and I could put that in there and see. There's been a huge move of jellyfish, or change of jellyfish. The force of the water changes and moves depending on whether the dam's gates are open or closed. Makes sense. People show their change, I guess, how they change, by continuing to buy expensive things. Okay? So then I would get the actual definition. The actual definition of this Latin root is to flow. Can anybody know what flow means? If water flows out of a hose, what's it doing?
Coming out.
Right, it's coming out. It's moving, right? So it's, right. Okay. All right. Good. Okay, so now it's your turn. All right. So together we'll work this out. We're going to read the next sentences for jack and ject. All right. Would somebody want to read the number one first sentence?
Yes, I will.
All right, Isaac.
The machine projects light across the room and onto a screen.
All right. Can you think of any clues there that you could put down?
Across.
Across. So write across on number one. Good. Okay.
Onto a screen.
Onto. Good.
Yeah.
Good job. All right. Somebody want to read the next sentence? All right, Audrey.
When the nurse injected Kim with the needle, the medicine thrust into her arm.
So what's a key word there that you could use a clue?
Thrust.
Thrust. Good. Okay. And then
Into.
Into. What'd you see? Injected Kim with the medicine thrust. Okay, into. Good. All right. Somebody want to read number 3? Okay, I'll read it. Chris rejected the moldy orange, refusing to accept it on his lunch tray. Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
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 All right. So let's think of a word. What? Refusing to
Refusing.
accept it
Refusing.
on his lunch tray. So what could we put?
Refusing.
Okay. So let's put that whole phrase. Refusing to accept. Okay. So what kind of definition do you think we could come up with using those clues?
Go into.
Go into. What else? When you thrust something, what do you do? Or when you don't accept something, what is somebody trying to do?
Deny.
But what's that person trying to do?
Decline. Refuse.
No, that's what you're doing. What would be the opposite? What are they doing to you to
Accept.
make you
Uh,
They're forcing you to do something.
forcing? So when they force something, what are they doing? So if you're in a crowd and the police are trying to get you to move, they might force you. They might what?
push you.
Push. Push would be one. When something comes out, we sometimes use the word expel or to flow out of or something like that. So, all right, push is a good one. Let's use push. All right, so you have your Acers aren't on. So I was going to say you could look up what jacked means. So what's the actual definition of jacked? Let's see.
Put in.
Huh?
Put in.
It means to throw. It means to throw. Or to lie, like to lie down like that. Okay, so if we were to put that in there, the machine throws light across the room and onto a screen. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not how we would say it, but it makes sense. When the nurse, well, you can't really say throw, but you could say pushed. You could push it into her, right? Doesn't the nurse push it into your skin? Okay. Right, when you inject. Let's see. Chris pushed the moldy orange, or he kind of pushed it away, right? Because he didn't want it, so he injected it. Okay. So can you think of any other words that have these parts in them? That have flew, flux, pluck, or jacked, or jack?
I object.
Object, good. So what do you think that means?
To decline.
I object. I think it's more like disagree, right? I disagree. I don't think it's right. Okay, so I want you to throw it out. You know? Okay, what's another one you can think of? Object's good. You can write that at the bottom. Well, let's write these words down that we can.
Reject.
Reject, good. Which means to
so like
push away or. Think of anything else? There's something we do in class, into the dibbles. We do fluency. FLU, fluency. So when the words flow well out of our mouth, we call that being fluent. All right. When somebody's an influence on you, what do you do? How does that go with flow? If somebody influences you, you what? You go with the...
Go with the flow.
You go with the flow, right? You're like, hey, this is great. Let's do it.
do.
Let's do what they're doing. They influence you. What do you think it means to interject?
Teachers, please excuse the interruption. All second and third grade Battle of the Books participants, please report to the library immediately.
See you, buddy.
Okay. What do you think interject means? Inter means within. So, I'll use it in a sentence. During the discussion, Noah tried to interject his thoughts. So if it means push, what does that mean?
Say what I'm thinking.
So you see it with push. Use a phrase with push. I'm trying to During the discussion, Noah tried to interject his thoughts. He tried to push in his thoughts right into the discussion. All right. So interject is another one. You guys think of anything else? Maybe one more word.
Project?
We have that one right there. Yeah, project. Oh, here's a good one. This goes really well with to flow. Flush. Does the water flow down the toilet when you flush it? So you have the FLU right there, right? Okay. Good. Did we say eject?
No.
Eject. So to push away, to fly, make it fly away. So. All right. Okay. So now, if I were to give you a quiz on these, you would know. You could kind of figure out what the meaning of the words mean. So, like, SATs are really big on Latin roots. Okay, so when you see these, you can look at the 4 words you have to choose from and kind of figure out which one means to push away. Which one could I put push in for? Which one could I put change or move for flux and flew and fluck? So, all right, good job. You can hit the square there.